How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today, I'm going to talk about why you should stop spending all your time learning and start spending some of that time doing instead. You see, most of our lives, we've been studying and learning most of the time. To complete a high school degree, you've been studying for 12 years. And if you happen to complete a college degree, you have to spend another 4 years. This is 16 years total that you've delayed your life, basically, from actually doing anything useful. Sure, you're completing your education, and this is really useful to get a degree. During all this time, you've been spending all your time learning and studying. You're not actually applying all of this in the real world. How many times have we said to ourselves, oh, I need to do such and such thing. Maybe I'm going to lose weight first before I do a certain big task. Other times people might say, let me finish learning this language first before I do something else. But this learning process is like a lifelong thing. People never really finish learning something. What I'm saying here is not to stop learning completely, because it's always good to keep on learning. However, you should not spend all of your free time learning, because if you just keep on learning, you're not actually doing anything. You can just be a lifelong learner. Oh, you can go to the library all the time. You can get multiple degrees. But then, yeah, at the end, you're going to know a lot more, but you did not produce anything. The idea here is to cut back a little bit on this learning. If you got your degree or whatever already, you've learned, you have some core competency that you can exercise already, okay? Then you sit here and go, okay, out of all these skills that you have, you can make something out of it. What can you do to utilize all these skills to your fullest extent? The point here is most people will never be fully ready. Whenever you're sitting behind some books, learning about something, you can spend many, many years doing this. And you'll find out that once you start something, the actual practice of it, you realize like the first day that you're doing that thing, you learn so much more than the whole year of trying to learn it through a book. Do your prep work. You need a little bit of background first, but you should step right in, start doing stuff, make mistakes. The first mistake is your experience here. It's going to be highly valuable. So you're just going to learn from it and try again. I feel like every single person has their own contribution to make. Throughout their lives, you have learned various different skills. It may be very, very unrelated. Maybe like your grandma taught you how to cook something a certain way, and then your profession is like a finance person. But you might be able to combine these somehow in your own unique way and produce something. So this is using all your skills to your maximum potential and just doing something with all of this. I feel like every single time that I actually practice something that I learn solely through a book or a manual, the first day or the first minute that I'm trying to practice something, I'm learning something completely new. It's completely different from what the manual says. It's like learning everything from scratch. So yes, you still have to prep for it first, just to know the basics. But once you start, it's like a completely different world. It's like, you can have someone practice by the book, by some simulation all the time, but this is no replacement for actual real experience. I can just sit here behind the camera and try to tell you all this experience, but it's no match for you actually going through life and experiencing it for yourself. Because if you have the experience yourself, you actually, you feel the emotions through it. These grandpas, they're always trying to give you really good advice. But, as a young person, when I listen to older people, it's like, oh yeah, they're saying this stuff, but it's hard to kind of implement things that people tell you without going through it yourself. So yeah, later on you realize the wisdom in these words, but by then it's a little bit too late, because you had to go through some of it yourself already, and you kind of maybe expended your cost. Same thing as an older person. So then, they're just trying to warn you, but then it's kind of usually hard to take the advice as is without at least experiencing some of it yourself. Whatever you're thinking of doing, maybe it's something really big. Stop prepping for it. If you've prepped enough, just jump right in and just start it already. Stop learning and start doing.